So this is the description of Jenner Park, Barrytown United's ground, for any visually impaired supporters who are going to be on the stream. And it's an athletic stadium. It's quite a nice athletic stadium as Adran Premier grounds go. If you're not in one of the professional team's main stadiums, this is one of the very best. So we'll go left to right as usual. There is a running track around the pitch, and it's an artificial pitch. But the running track is not as wide as when you play at Cardiff, when there's also the long jump in the way. So we're closer to the pitch than you would think. And in fact, looking at it, it's a full size, it's a 7-lane running track, so it's slightly narrower than a proper full-on international one. Anyway, let's get on with it. Left to right. So behind the goal, there are two buildings. There's no stand behind the goal. Obviously, the running track goes behind it as well, and a steeplechase jump with the water behind it. And actually, by the corner flag on the left-hand side is the long jump pit. So there's the run up for the long jump goes behind the goal, and then running in the other direction is the triple jump pit. They're covered by blue tarpaulins today. And then these two buildings beyond the running track. Now, on the left is a grey building, corrugated iron with a slanted roof at about 30 degrees. It's got blue guttering, and that is like their social club, so where you can go and have a coffee or whatever, or a pint. And then there's a view of the pitch, quite big windows running along it, so you can look at the game from behind the goal. Next to it is what looks like a similar building, grey corrugated iron, although with the bottom part of it is brick. Looks sort of quite newish. It's got 4 windows going across. That's the changing rooms. That's got a sort of pitched roof in the middle and yellow guttering. And in front of the first one I mentioned is a rather scruffy looking concrete wall dropping down to the side of the running track. Right. So the pitch is there. There's nothing at all in the corners, and you get a nice clear view of the terraced houses of Barry behind us, and a hand car wash is next to them. And then coming past the corner flag, big tree just outside the ground. What type of tree? Green. It's the best I'm giving you. I'm afraid I'm not an expert on trees. Then you've got a small hut then underneath it, which is a toilet hut. It's a grey breeze block building with, again, a slanted corrugated roof. And then to the right of that is one of the 2 stands. So running from about 15 yards into the half to my left, across almost to the corner flag to the right, is a small stand. It has got 10 rows of green seats, although this is weird, it's always been the case. Obviously it wasn't built this way, but there are gaps. There's like lots of dark green seats at the top, and they're arranged in 5 blocks, and then they become really weirdly higgledy-piggledy, a bit like if you've played Space Invaders and you've shot a few of the Space Invaders in the lower rows, and then the bottom rows are pretty much, but not entirely intact, almost as if they've started replacing the seats and then given up. So there's spaces in the middle of those seats, so some rows are empty or partially empty. It's quite odd. I'm not sure how else to describe it. The middle block has got picked out in the dark green seats BT FC, because this was Barrytown Football Club. Now they're called Barrytown United. They did go out of business and then reform. Is that why those seats have been removed and not all put back in? Maybe. And yeah, it's a low stand, low roof. Again, this theme of this sort of greyish, magnolia-ish sort of corrugated iron, and the roof, the fascia is just that plain going across. There's a sign at the back saying East Stand, and adverts at the back of the stand as well as at the front. And that's about it to describe, really. The floodlights are quite big, and so quite a long narrow stalk, and then 4 rows of lights. Going to the corner, there's some green storage boxes. That clearly will be where the athletics equipment is kept, or one blue storage case as well. And then there's, as the adverts go round, they stop, and you can see that they're all put on yellow fences that go around the running track. Around behind the goal to the right, there's nothing else behind the goal except for a couple of big, well, I think what they are, they're the covers for the long jump, it's not the long jump, the high jump and the pole vault cushions that you land on. But they've got like solid boxes that they must store them in. So they're sitting behind the goal, sort of beige with, I've got to be honest, what looks like some mangy moles sort of developing in stripes on the top of it. And I'm sounding very critical. I'm not meaning to. I like it here. That you can see across for a long way then the rooftops of Barry. It's lots of terraces all crushed in. And just in the distance, there are some high chimneys because this is a very industrial area as well. So there's obviously factories in the middle distance. Beyond them, there are some hills as well. It's also a very hilly area. And then coming across, there's a refreshments hut in the bottom right corner of the running track. And right in front of me are the dugouts. As you often get in these athletic stadia, portable dugouts on wheels. They're metal, they're not see-through. One's blue, one's yellow. And like I said, there's 4 because there's 1 blue, 1 yellow on wheels either side the halfway line. So 2 for each team, I assume. Seems a little bit overkill, but hey, better to have too much than too little. And then across the running track is the stand I'm in. Now, this is the biggest stand. There's a massive gantry here that we're in. It's really big and wide. And then above us, it's bigger than the stand on the opposite side. There's a nice roof. Again, that same corrugated iron with yellow struts supporting it. But they arc up and down. Oh, gosh, how shall I explain that? Like upside down waves almost. And it's quite attractive. I'm trying to think of a better way to put that. And underneath me is the seats, and these are intact, although some of them clearly have been replaced. They're green, but some of them are blue. There's 8 rows of seats, and they go from penalty area to penalty area. The right-hand side of the stand has got a glass side, which you can't see through. It just blocks the view to the streets. The left-hand side has nothing, and you can see some houses above, some wasteland in the corner. So there you go, Jenner Park in Barry.